Hello, everyone, and welcome to this bonus episode of the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. I'm so happy to be here with you today. As a reminder, I am WendyY Bailey. I'm a 20-year master business and sales coach. I'm a veteran in the coaching industry. I'm an OG in the coaching industry. And so, what I try to do when I'm talking to you this way or when I'm serving my clients, I really try to impart from the wisdom that I have around whatever topic that we're focused on for the day. If you're here and you're joining me, you're either following me on LinkedIn, on Facebook in my Profitable Coaching Society group, or you are watching me on YouTube, the Profitable Coaching Conversations show. If you're here live, be sure that you go to the comments below the video and say hello and let me know you're here. If you're on Facebook, you need to grant StreamYard permission so that you can, I can see who you are in making your comments. If you're catching the replay, just type hashtag replay in the comments below. And when you type hello, when you type hashtag replay, then I know that you've seen it. And if you have any questions, I'm there to answer your questions as well. The focus of what I do is in three categories: business, marketing, and sales. Business, it's all about processes and systems and making sure you understand how automation works. For marketing, it's about visibility strategies. It's what you do to launch your programs into the marketplace. And for sales, it's about a conversation. It can be one-to-one conversations. It can be one-to-many conversations. And there are some other kinds of sales conversations I talk about. Hey, Sherry, there's some other things that I talk about, but it includes email marketing as well as copywriting. So everything is really about a conversation. So let's kind of jump into our topic for today. I love having this conversation specifically about how to raise your coaching fees. I've been really working with clients in this area for about 6.5 years. I have a program I created. I'm going to tell you about that a little later, but I started with a program that I created in 2016, and it was pretty comprehensive, right? But what I noticed over the 3 years that I delivered it was that the focus for most people who were here, who were part of that program, was all about pricing and how they looked at pricing. So over the past year and a half, I pulled it out of that bigger program and I put it into another program where I'm focused on teaching you, touching you, helping you really understand how to price your coaching services. So today's topic is all about how to set or raise your fees with confidence. How to set or raise your fees with confidence. And I want to tell you that when you think in terms of what it takes to set or raise your fees, mindset is everything. Mindset is everything. Mindset is everything because when you understand what's important in your pricing, you know that there are 4 words that you must know what they are. It's a WendyYism. It's one of my catchphrases. I charge for that. I charge for that. That's 4 words, right? And what it says is it's not about using those 4 words per se. It really is about the spirit of that language. It's the spirit of I'm adding value in the marketplace and I deserve to be compensated for that value. When you understand the I charge for that mindset and the way of thinking, what you're going to find is you won't undercharge anymore for what you do. You won't undervalue your services, and you'll begin to attract clients who value what you do, who recognize the value of making an investment in working with you at that pricing level, at that fee that you set for your coaching program or your service. Okay. So I charge for that is founded in what you believe about your coaching, about what you bring to the marketplace. I charge for that reveals what you understand about your value. It's not your worth. Your worth is priceless. So I don't want you to start using the word worth instead of what I'm using. Your worth is priceless. People can't pay you your worth, but they can compensate you. They can pay you for the value you bring through your coaching. And that's what's really, really important. Okay. And then the last thing is I charge for that as a mindset really does speak to your values and what's important to you. right? When you understand what's important to you, then you can articulate your value. You can communicate what you do in ways that people recognize what you're offering. And the right ideal clients will come to you and they'll be ready to invest in hiring you. So let's jump into a couple of pieces of content. The reason I charge for that is so important is because it's the foundation that you build everything on in your business. It's the foundation that defines how you set fees for your programs. It's the foundation for how you build and grow your business. It starts with that. Yeah, I charge for that. Thank you for posting that in the comments. Remember, if you're on Facebook, to grant StreamYard permission so that I can see who you are in the comments and I can support you and acknowledge you for that. So, brick by brick, with strength and faith, I charge for that gives you the foundation for building and growing your business. I remember a few years ago, I had traveled to Detroit and I met a couple of colleagues while I was there. And one of the colleagues that I met, I had seen her in the public eye. She was doing stuff. She was always posting that she was speaking somewhere on Facebook. And so we went for dinner and I was like, oh, I can tell you're really doing some great things. I'm excited. She said, well, I'm doing a lot, but it's all for free. It's all for free. And I said, wow. And I said, well, let me give you 5 words that are going to deliver you from free. As people are coming to you and they want you to speak, they want to hire you as their coach. They want to tap into your brain power, your energy, your content. These 5 words will help you. Let me show you how. Let me show you how. 5 words that will turn an opportunity that is free, where someone is not paying you, to understand the shift in value those 5 words have just given you. And she started using those 5 words. I haven't followed up that with her, but she's doing even some bigger things. I want to say she's doing movies and she's doing anthologies and she's doing a whole lot in the marketplace, right? When you understand how to language what you do, it means that you know your value, you understand what goes into value. I'm going to get to that in just a second. And you understand the value of your programs and you understand that it's about the result. Let me say this about fees. I always say it and I don't want to miss out on saying it today. Coaching is not a linear activity, so stop charging by the hour for your coaching. Coaching is not linear, so stop charging by the hour for your coaching. That means that you can't charge X number of dollars an hour. People are paying you when they come to you for coaching. They're paying for a specific result. They're paying for transformation. And when you can deliver that transformation, then they see that it's not about the time you invested in coaching them. It's not about the number of sessions that you offered them. It really is about the strategy, the development, the coaching, the putting the mirror in front of them seeing things that they need to see for themselves, them arriving at their conclusions, moving forward over hurdles and past roadblocks. All of that is tied into result. All of that is tied into the transformation that you deliver your clients to. So when you think about the I charge for that way of thinking and being, I want you to understand that you're building blocks on value. You're building blocks on that transformation. You're building blocks on the result that you're creating and helping your clients create based on the coaching that you're doing. So I talked about I charge for that. Let's see. So let's get into the 5 things that will help you set or raise your fees with great confidence. The first one is ideal client clarity. Now, the WendyY concept is ideal client clarity and the power of 1. Ideal client clarity and the power of 1. 1 ideal client, 1 core problem, 1 comprehensive solution. 1. When you understand that that's what you're really doing, 1 ideal client, 1 core problem, 1 comprehensive solution, then you can deepen your content. You can make the experience of coaching with you much richer than just trying to appeal to the masses. I've heard people say that they got into coaching and they had other coaches, mentors who said to them, you need to coach everybody with some skin on them. Yeah, no, that's not your ideal client. You need to get very, very clear about who your ideal client is. It's one ideal client. And I always say, name the gender, name the age range, no more than 10 years, understand the profession, the job, or the industry, whatever goes into you clarifying who that one ideal client is. And you need to know what kind of revenue, salary, or income they have. All of that really does shape at a very basic level how you choose to set your fees. Your ideal client is always, always, always ready, willing, and able to invest in themselves by hiring you. That's a Wendy Yism. Your ideal client is always, all caps, underline, circle, bold, always ready, willing, and able to invest in themselves by hiring you. Well, Wendy, why? What happens when somebody comes to me and they say, I believe they're my ideal client based on, everything you've said, but then when I get to the offer, they say I really can't afford it. I can't afford it unless they're in survival mode, means that they are struggling, they are really not in a position when they're struggling, okay, when they're in survival mode. But I can't afford it really means I don't recognize the financial priority. I don't understand how to prioritize coaching based on the value that's been demonstrated to me today. It's about financial priority. It's not about the money, right? Your ideal client is always ready, willing, and able to invest in themselves by hiring you. Now, if you talk to someone and they are in the business of kind of jumping from guru to guru, jumping from expert program to program, then I would say you need to make sure you understand who's not your ideal, because you don't want someone who's jumping from program to program. You want a committed, dedicated person, ideal client who comes and shows up. She's coachable, he's coachable. And based on that, you can serve them deeply and compassionately and effectively, move them to the transformation. So they're non-ideal clients as well. And when I talk about non-ideal clients, I want you to understand some behavior patterns that tell you, like I said, first, the guru hopping, the program to program hopping. That's not your ideal client. The next one is someone who's haggling with you over your fees. Oh, well, I think that's too much to pay, and I'm not really wanting to invest that. If they're haggling with you, it means they don't see the value. And if you have not given them a picture of the value that they understand, then they may likely not be your ideal client. The last behavior that I want to describe is what I call cherry picking. It's what I call cherry picking. That means that they're looking at your program, and let's say you have 5 components. They say, oh, well, if we take number 3 out, what's the program cost? Your program is the program. You're not taking pieces and parts of it away so that they can reduce somehow the value and the price of the program. The value is the value. Your fee that you set is the fee. If they haggle with you over that, if they cherry pick it, if you're just one of many gurus that they've hired, or they're going to move on to the next one as soon as they feel like they've gotten what they needed from you, they are less than ideal clients. If they are truly your ideal clients and you believe that they have the ability to invest, then let them work it out. Let them work it out. When you're in a coaching session, that very first consultation with them, you get to ask a lot of curious questions. And when objections surface, it's your opportunity to find out what's really going on underneath the objection. Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's, concern about moving forward or staying stuck or whatever the case is. Your role as a coach is to find out what's happening underneath the objection. Okay. But ideal client clarity and the power of one is a great way to know how to set or raise your fees with confidence. And let me say this: if you are attached to the outcome, that means that you're saying, oh, wow, I really need this sale. I want to get this money in. Then you've got what a friend of mine has referred to as commission breath. And clients can see your commission breath. It's almost like going out in the cold weather, and you get those bursts of it looks like smoke, but it's the difference between you being a warm body and walking out into the cold, and you can see your breath, right? Commission breath is very unattractive. Very unattractive. So you need to release your attachment to the outcome of the session or of whatever you're doing, and just be able to move through it with curiosity, to ask questions, to make sure that they're your ideal client. And understand, just because someone does a session with you does not mean you have to work with them. It doesn't mean that they have to hire you. It doesn't mean that you want them to hire you, right? When you are working with someone as a coach in that initial consultation, it's an opportunity for you both to evaluate if you think the chemistry is right, if you're the right coach for them, if you can help them achieve the outcome that they're interested in, if you can move them to the transformation they're seeking. It's a two-way street. You're looking at them just like they're looking at you. And so you have to be wise in that conversation and evaluate, not judge, but evaluate if they truly are your ideal client. And remember, your most ideal client is always ready, willing, and able to invest in themselves by hiring you. Okay. So ideal client clarity and the power of one is really, really important. The second thing you want to know when you are trying to set or raise your fees is setting and raising your fees requires boundaries. You've got to have really, really clear boundaries. That means you know how to say no, because all business is not good business. It means you know when to coach. And like I said, every client is not your ideal. That means you can point some people in other directions. Let me give you a couple of quick examples. A few years ago, I was coaching a client, and she was coaching people straight out of college and wondering why they couldn't afford to pay her. And I said, because they're coming out of college. They don't have the financial wherewithal or means to hire you as a coach. So fast forward a few years, and we started working together again last year, around this time last year. And she told me she's no longer working with that client, those kinds of clients, because now she has elevated her ideal client profile, and she refers the students who are coming out of school or grad school to someone who has the resources to support them. That's what I mean by knowing who your ideal client is, so that you can point them in another direction. I've had clients that have come to me, and in that initial session, I was able to determine they didn't need coaching. They weren't coachable. They needed some sort of therapy or counseling because there were traumas or tragedies that they still were very much engaged in. They had not healed from. I'm not saying you can't help people heal as a coach, but what I am saying is if they're not in a position to receive what it is you offer in the way of guidance and instruction, in the way of coaching and methodologies and tools that you can use to help them achieve certain transformation and results and outcomes, then you may need to refer them to someone else, right? For therapy, for counseling, right? You need to decide that. Another thing you want to look at when it comes to clear boundaries, you've got to know that if you're going to work with someone, you have you get to make a decision about how you work with them. I have worked with clients who, for whatever reason, whatever they were going through, I knew they were going through some things. I knew that I could help them. And let me say it a different way. I knew that I could support them with some form of coaching. And so I coached them pro bono. That means I didn't charge them for coaching. When you create that kind of relationship, you've got to know when it starts. You've got to know when it ends. You need to be clear with them about the boundaries. We're going to do X number of sessions, and then, we'll move on. Then we'll reevaluate and determine if you're ready to actually invest at that point. You get to set the timeline. You get to set the boundaries for that. Same thing with bartering. I had a couple people when I first started my coaching business more than 20 years ago. I had a couple of people that I bartered with. My first accountant, I bartered with her. I coached her for 2 years. She did my books and managed my tax stuff for 2 years. That was an even exchange, right? I had an organizer that I bartered with. She organized me in my life, helped me declutter, and I coached her. Same thing, time for time, 3 sessions a month for her, three sessions a month for me. And when it was time for us to move on from that, then we were both clear. Now I pay you, right? Now I pay you to coach me. Now I pay you to organize me. And you've got to set the boundaries, the start and the end time for those kinds of relationships. The next thing you want to make sure that you understand when it comes to setting or raising your coaching fees, you've got to have commitment and dedication. Commitment and dedication. What it means is you do not reduce your fees just to make a sale. Just to make a sale, you don't reduce your fees. You don't discount your fees. You are committed to the fees that you set, and that's what you charge, are the fees that you've identified, right? It also means that if you feel like your payment, your fees are a little on the high and you're a little uncomfortable, it's okay to make payment arrangements. It's okay to create plans for people, but they also need to be very clear and structured. No more than 3 payments within a payment plan, no more than 6 payments in a payment plan. You get to decide what that looks like. Now, I'm of the belief that if you charge for payment plans, then the fee goes up. The people who get the greatest benefit of your pricing, your fees, are the people who can pay it in one lump sum. That's how you want to start looking at it, right? So the people who are buying into payment plans, you get to decide if you want to do this, but this is my belief. If there's a payment plan, then there is a finance charge associated with that. And based on that finance charge, you want to make sure that you are taking into account the administrative situation you have to go through to manage those payment plans. If they're late, someone from your team or you're managing whatever that receivable looks like for you and your business. So all of that has to become something that you take into consideration. The last thing I want to say is, when you are working with clients around commitment and dedication, it's your commitment to the fee that you've set and increasing your fees, whatever that looks like, but it's also their commitment and dedication to believing in themselves at a higher level. So you get to challenge your clients on their belief about value. You get to elevate their thinking about how they see themselves and the investment they make in themselves by hiring you. So challenge your clients to higher level commitment and dedication, to higher level thinking, elevate their mindset around value for themselves. Okay. And then the next one I want to talk about is, let me scroll a little bit. You've also got to have excellent communication skills. It can be challenging to say no. It can be challenging to communicate around your fees and when they go up and why they went up. You shouldn't have to go into a whole lot of conversation about it. You just need to be clear in how you communicate what it is. When I talk about I charge for that, I'm not saying you tell people I charge for that. It's not a literal phrase. It's the spirit of the words, I charge for that. It's not literal. Don't say the words, because just saying I charge for that can be offensive. Like, I've been somebody who said it and I could tell people were offended. You can communicate what you believe as the value of what you do. You can communicate the I charge for that way of thinking without being too harsh. You can communicate it in a way that people buy into what you offer. I charge for that follows the spirits of the word. The words I charge for that. So you say it with confidence, clarity, and eloquence. Again, it's not the 4 words, it's the spirit of the words. So maybe instead of saying, oh, well, my fee, I just recently increased my fees because I saw clients getting so much value from it. So where my fee was X number of dollars, now it's higher than that and it's X number of dollars. There's a way to communicate with eloquence and clarity and confidence without offending people. The last thing I want to say is I charge for that really does mean you speak with confidence, professionalism, and you reveal your expertise and you listen carefully to discover what may be getting in the way of your client taking that next step to work with you. Okay. Now, once you understand that the value of your coaching is stellar, I mean, it's high value, high touch. Now you need to understand the importance of you providing stellar service. That means that when you are faced with something that may feel difficult or worrisome with a client, it means that you walk through it, you talk through it with professionalism and with great service. If you have to deliver a refund, don't fight the client over the refund. If that's not what you really feel, you can communicate based on the last thing I said with eloquence, and you can decide how it wants to be. I opened my calendar up to do a one-on-one session with clients, and one client took me up on it. And it's a paid session. She invested in it. We worked through the session. I made her an offer. She took it, she accepted the offer. I charged her card, and we were off and moving. And when I sent her the agreement to start our formal coaching after that session, she said, well, I need to understand what we're really going to do in our coaching. And I went back to my notes and I told her what we were going to do. And she said, well, I don't think that's the value that I'm looking for. And I said, no problem. I refunded her money. We were off and running in different directions. Now, what I'm saying to you is, don't be so tied to, oh, well, they paid me and, they got to pay me. And, don't be tied to that. Be in a situation, be in a place where you accept when a client doesn't recognize the value of what you do so that you can move on. I just think energetically you can get caught up in situations like that. Now, I did have another client who was part of a program that I had. And when we started coaching one-on-one, she was just very resistant to the coaching. And so what she finally said to me was, I feel like we're at odds about what I should be doing. And I said, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I just know from my experience, the strategy that you want to do isn't something that's going to yield the kind of results that you want. And I said, I think it's okay if we part ways. And we parted ways, and I, discontinued her enrollment in the program. And the thing that I said to her was, she said, well, I've already paid my money. And the thing that I said to her was, yes, you paid your money. And for that money, you've gotten value. I'm just not going to continue beyond this to get money from you because, we can cut our losses and move forward. And that's what we did. You have to be the one to move through service issues and not feel like you're somehow getting beaten up by the client or you're beating up the client, right? The thing that I also want you to know, there's a quote from Dr. Maya Angelou that says, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And that's kind of what I'm saying to you. Believe clients when they show you how they are, what's going on the first time. And you want to be consistent in your professionalism, in your service, and how you address concerns with your clients as well. The last thing I want to say is when you are talking to clients that are already in your programs, that you're already coaching, it is less expensive for you to retain a client than it is for you to go out and get new clients. The cost of referrals versus new clients or existing clients, there's like a deep divide between those two. So whatever you can do in the way of stellar service means that you're focused on retaining clients as well. And then the last thing I'll say is your clients are interested in sending other clients your way. So the way you treat your clients is the way they talk about you to other people. I interviewed someone on my web TV show, this show, for a guest episode a few weeks ago. And she and I had worked together on her content marketing strategy and building a group coaching program several years ago. And she said to me when we got together, when we reconnected, and then we booked her guest appearance, she said, I tell people about you all the time, WendyY, because what you did for me was help me understand the clarity of what I do. I send people your way all the time. And I just thought, wow, that's really cool. And then later she said to me after we had conducted our interview, she said, just so you know, I know that the next coach I have, I want to come back to you because you were so helpful with me before. That's the beauty of stellar service that you give your clients. When you're in a space where you are serving your clients and your service is impeccable, your word is impeccable, make sure that you are staying true to who you are. You're going to get clients who return. I have clients over 20 years who come back to me. Like they disconnect, they go off and they do some of the work. They might hire another coach, but they come back, right? And based on coming back, it's because they've had a good experience working with me. And that's how you want your service to be as well. Now, I've been talking about pricing, and over the next about 6 weeks, every week I'm going to talk to you about some other aspect of pricing and setting your fees. So tune in to every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, usually around 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern. I do this episode live, and it's also broadcast in replay on Roku, the Amazon TV, and through the Diamond Factor Experience Network. So I'm really grateful that you guys are here and supporting this content as well. All of this content that I'm sharing is to tell you a little bit more about my masterclass program, where we break down soup to nuts how you evaluate your pricing, what you do to set fees. And the thing that is most important, more than anything, I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you in a minute. Predictable Coaching Income is a 6-week masterclass program. We get down into soup and nuts around what your pricing should be based on. When I talk about predictable coaching income, at the end of the program, you will have the beginning of your predictable coaching income plan. And what that means is, you're going to have a strategy that's tied to a calendar so that you know exactly how much money you're going to make in the month of September or the month of October or January. You can plan for that. You can do your marketing so that you are shooting for those benchmarks and targets. And I'm going to show you how to do all of that in the Predictable Coaching Income Masterclass. Get all the details at predictablecoachingincome.com. Predictablecoachingincome.com is where you can go and find out more details. And I'm just excited. I would love to serve and support you in that program. There are people who have come through that program and now they see what they do in a whole different light. I was hosting a room on Clubhouse just yesterday, and one of my clients who came through that program, when he talked about being part of the masterclass program, he said it was like being in a program where you talked to us about building a house, and every time we talked about something, you showed us how to add a room to the house, and before we knew it, at the end of the program, we had a mansion that we had been selling for 50 cents. And now we know how to set the fee for that mansion in a way that represents the value and the contribution we're making to the client. I thought it was the greatest metaphor. I really thought it was the greatest compliment I could have. So that's what the Predictable Coaching Income Masterclass will do for you. Get all the details at predictablecoachingincome.com. Again, I hope to see you there. Now, if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on Clubhouse at profitablecoachingclub.com. I host rooms there at least once a week. Sometimes it's more frequently than that, but at least once a week. And because I host rooms there, I get a lot of traffic, a lot of clients from Clubhouse, because there are people out there not sharing the same level of value sometimes that I share. And that's fine. But if you want coach training, that's a great place to get it from me. And then if you miss any of the episodes, you can go back to profitablecoachingconversations.com and you can see the latest episodes there. You can hear the latest episodes because the podcast links will be there as well, and you can catch anything you missed. The last point I want to give you, this is the secret sauce, if you haven't heard it, for setting and raising your coaching fees. Value. The more value you gain, the more education, the more skills you have, the higher the value. And so is the price. So you can bank on setting your fees, raising your fees incrementally, and selling your coaching programs based on the value that you're bringing to the marketplace, based on the value that you're able to support your clients in. That's the beauty of value. Right? That's how you set your fees. You have the right mindset. You focus on the right client. You provide stellar service. You are an excellent communicator. It means that you've got all of the tools necessary in your toolkit that really, when you put it all together, it's a big ball of value that you deliver to help your clients to serve them more fully. So thanks so much for being here today. As a reminder, you can go and get more information about the program at predictablecoachingincome.com. And I would love to serve you and support you in getting your pricing all squared away. This has been a bonus episode of the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And if you caught the replay, let me know, and also post your questions as well. Take care, everyone. Have a good one. Bye-bye.